Howdy folks, TJ here. What do you think? Next Kickstarter number 3? Some shenanigans are going on over at the Specky Next Facebook group. This is really the first mention from a Next team member that I remember that's kind of brought up, okay, there's been a little break in the action. Let's test the waters kind of thing. So let me read off the text to you. If you're not already in the Facebook group for the Specky Next, the official one, there's like 15 bazillion people over there. Last I looked, 15,000. I didn't peek today, but I don't want to close the window that I'm in. There's a lot. So if you have any inkling of wanting to know what a Specky Next is all about, you have to be in that group. So let me read off. This is from Mike Cadwallader. As we know, he has been one of the team members for a long time. And in this post he did today, 5 hours ago, is there an appetite, he says, for a third Kickstarter? Has the market become saturated? Question mark. Bearing in mind there would be likely minimal or no changes. Maybe a different color or box of box. So that threw me off a little bit. What box you talking about? The cardboard box or the case? I think he would say case if it was the case, but I don't care about the color of the outer box. I care about the color of the computer, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But different screen shots on the back. So I think he's talking about the packaging box. Sure, you want that automatically, but it's not going to entice me to buy another one. So let me read off it's a poll. The top one is at 40%, and it says, I would buy a Kickstarter 3 Next. I'm a proud Next owner. So far, there's 40% of that. Let me click on the 40% because it will say quantity, how many. 150 votes on that one. So you can get the bearing straight. The next one is, I would buy a Kickstarter 3 Next. I don't currently own a Next. There's 21% there, which is 74 votes. Then there's, I would buy a Kickstarter 3 Next. I own a Next compatible. 7% on this one. Oh, I changed my selection. I don't want to change my selection. I'm just trying to click on the 6%. 23 votes on that one. And let's see what's next. 0% for I would buy a few Kickstarter 3 Next. I like backups. Surprisingly, no one selected that one. And then 33%, which is the one that I selected. Nope, no sir. And that's a total of 118 votes. That's a pretty big chunk. So how many there? What did we got? Roughly 400 votes off the tallying of my head, something like that. So does that look promising? Probably not. With 40% yay, kinda, and 33% no. Although there's some other ones in there, so I guess you got to add it up. 40% for sure. 21% yeah, but they don't own one. So yeah, actually more. So that's what, 60%. So 60 versus 30. Yeah, that's a little bit better odds. But still, it's not 100%. It's not 90%. There's some people saying, no, I wouldn't do it. And I was one of those, and you're probably going, DJ, what you saying, you crazy man? Well, I'll explain why I put no, and I'll read off my answer to you. But there's 78 comments so far in 5 hours, and there's a lot of good commentary. I'm not going to read all of it to you. Maybe if one jumps out at me. But a few of them, let me go, I'll read off mine. And it said, since I own 2, I had to go, nope, no sir. I got a cough. Stretched on dollars now, but, in all capital letters, B-U-T, if they kickstarted that mystical, transparent Next, I would have to say yes. Yes, I will. And then a little ha-ha at the end. So I'm saying, because the original post said, no changes. Maybe the color of the box. The color of the outer box doesn't do much for me. Sure, I love boxes and I like collecting boxes, but the color of the actual computer is my ticket to wanting to buy another one, because I have a Kickstarter 1, I have a Kickstarter 2, so that's why I said, nope, no sir, because they're pointing a picture towards no changes. It's going to be the same one as Kickstarter 2, maybe some minor tweaks or something, but no color change on the computer that I'm seeing here. from an official team member. Just kind of, yeah. Would you be open to a third one? Since I own 1 and 2, and my money's very limited, I have to say no as of today. Now, we know that every Kickstarter in the past took 2-3 years to finally ship. 3, I think, on the average. So it takes a long time. So in 3 years from now, who knows what my position will be. But today, I say no, unless you actually said, okay, we get the picture. A color of the outer box and a few adjustments is not enough. What happens if we do a white one? Because they've already teased a white one. A white one for me probably wouldn't do it. White is cool, but I love the black sexy computer, so I'm going to stick with my black ones. But they've teased, and they said they already, why I call it mystical is because they said if we did transparent one, it'd be probably lots of money, but you're not going to see much inside the way the keyboard is and stuff like that. It's like, why go transparent? You're not going to see much. But there's enough. If I can see through little bits here and there, and it looks transparent as you're sitting back from it a foot or two, I would dig it. And there's a couple other people. I think Matt Langley was another one that kind of likes that clear. I've never owned a clear computer before. I've always wanted one. And I've seen some Apple Macs that were clear, some older Apple IIs that were clear. I've seen a recent, I'm an Atari guy, so a recent Atari Atari XEGS, the gaming system. Somebody designed a clear case idea that you could 3D print, and it looked really cool. Again, when they show you a render, is it really showing you everything that's inside? And that's, I think, the problem with the next transparent one. Sure, we could probably do it, and it's probably a lot more money, but it's not going to show lots of stuff, so why bother? But I'm going to still say, if you figured out the specifics and said, yes, we could do a clear one, yeah, you could see some fun things, or maybe you're not going to see stuff on the keyboard, but maybe make the keyboard lit up. Maybe do something under the keyboard to show a little light, a little something, so you see that, and then you see the clear outer edges. That might be sexy enough for me to change and go, yes, I need a third one. But today, if you just said, no, it's the same as the Kickstarter 2, minor tweaks, minor adjustments, the outer box that it ships in, maybe some few tweaks. I'm guessing because whatever games, come with it, they're going to have to pimp those out. But yeah, I wouldn't do it for that alone. I need to see an external Next that is either different or that it's the same black Next, but there's now a Next logoed joystick gamepad that's maybe they get the 8-bit do. Maybe they should work with the 8-bit do people and make one that says specifically not 8-bit do, but Specky Next on it. And then there's a mouse that also says Sinclair on it. So a mouse and a joypad that have Next. And the Next itself is the same. That might entice me. And then a dust cover. And a dust cover. So if you add accessories on top of it, make a new box that can house all those son of a bees weasels. Or just the same box, but throw the joystick, a joypad, and the dust bunny thing. and any of the other things in there that have the Next logos. You know what? I would probably do it. So there has to be something more than just same Kickstarter, we're going to do a third one. You know, I think there's enough excitement to probably get a number of hundreds of them, but I don't see 5,000 people, 4,000 people doing it again on a third one. That's me personally. They've sold a lot of Nexts, but a third one, unless there's something new, I don't know. So let's see if there's any things that jump out. I read you off my description. Let me go look at Matt's, because he said some cool things, I think. Matt currently owns 5. You son of a bitch. You bastard. So probably shouldn't, but obviously would if I had a cool new feature like transparency. That's why I like that Matt Langley dude. He's thinking on the same wavelength as me, but he's got a few extra dollars in his pocket because he has 5 of them. I've only got 2. With all seriousness, though, he says, head on, if they are changing hands on eBay at cost, that suggests to me it's saturated. Good point. Producing more might even push the price lower. However, a lot, and that's something I should stop on there. Say they're going to do a Kickstarter or a third one, but since they've got everything locked in, it's going to be the same, but it's going to be cheaper. Because we've got things locked in and there's less now cost of having to make more. They've got the molds, they've got all those things. So say they came back, what was it? I think it was $450 US, the Kickstarter 2 that I did, when all was said and done. If they came back and said it was $300 for a Kickstarter 2, I would maybe do it. 350, nah, that's pushing it for me. 300's that magic. I'd probably say, okay, $300, freaking just do it. Have an extra one. But 350 for 450, no, I can't do that. So let's read on. However, a lot of I missed the boat peeps seem hung up on having a brand new one made for them. So they might choose to pay and then wait a year or two. Yeah. I know you'd hope to get a repeat run just in 6 months, but stuff happens. Yeah, every time. Something's going to happen. What's going to happen next? I don't know. There are some presidential elections coming up soon. Not that it's in your country necessarily that's making these, but is there? I don't know. I don't follow your politics. Also, I worry about political situation if ordering from China. Good point. I appreciate that much admired clear case concept may not be practical without expensive process or possibly mold work, but if you're after an incentive, custom case graphics options would be killer, or possibly scale up Tom Dolby's excellent keyboard cover design, which might be mass producible with a variety of graphic options. I'm thinking skateboarding decals, which might be more desirable and cheaper than messing with the case itself. Obviously, if that's an option of interest, you'd need to talk to other directly. I'm just pointing out the possibilities. It's a great product with an awesome customization potential. So, yeah, he's on the extra stuff. He's on the same wavelength as Transparent, but also, if there's extras that I don't own yet, it might entice me to buy because it comes with dust cover. I don't think dust cover alone would do it for me, to be truthful. But a joypad, like the 8-bit do, wireless, that has the logo of the Sinclair, yes, I would do it for that. And I'd probably do the same $350 price range, $400 maybe at most. So again, incentives. Is there anything else? There's a lot of posts in here. One from Stephen Elliott. Not from me, as I have 3 Nexts. I was tempted to sell the Kickstarter 1 version, but that has historical importance, being the first Next model. And 2, did I start this recording? I'm not going to go check it because it will screw up the video. And 2 Kickstarter 2 Next because I always wanted a backup. It's not like you can buy them from Amazon next day delivery. That's true. And let's a little tangent on there. This day and age, people have way too much Amazon in their head. They expect stuff to be to you the next day. Small companies can't do that. There's shipping and charges and a lot more involved. Amazon gets some probably great rates that us little guys can't. So don't expect next day delivery from the wee little people. Anyway, I feel you're asking in the wrong place, though. As many here have Next and Engos already, Kickstarter is the only way of truly finding out. And I personally feel you should showcase the very impressive new software as well as the old specky games if there was a Kickstarter 3. Show what the system can do and highlight the ease of access to the hardware via powerful built-in BASIC and C assembly language options. Unlike modern closed systems, you can directly access the hardware rather than fighting the operating system and APIs like Vulkan, OpenGL, and DirectX. So that's a good good words there. Let's see if there's any other ones that jump out at me. Let's read one more, because there's a lot in here. There's 70 some odd. Go and join the Facebook group if you're not a member. If you're a member, go choose. This is your time. If you're not a member of the group, the only way these guys are going to know right now is that you go in and click one of those buttons. If you want more people to say yes, you better go in and click on there, because there are a decent quantity of no's so far. Adrian Sinclair says, I think the market is there, but the advertising and pre-promotion needs to be done first to make up for the last 3-year hiatus. It needs promotion on all of the retro places we all frequent at least a couple of months in advance. Maybe a digital media presence like targeted Facebook advertising, etc. Something to really generate interest. Kickstarter 2 took so long to deliver through no one's fault, but several world insanities. Maybe the momentum has partially been lost. Good point. But like anything, it's down to the time of year when it's done and keeping changes to a minimum to keep Kickstarter requirements and a price point that folk can afford, taking inflation, etc. into account. He says here, I would back it if the price point was right. There you go. Would be interesting to see what any stretch goals would be, though, if any at all. Maybe a color option would entice backers. He's not saying clear, but he's saying color options. Or a dust cover case to house it went out of the main box. Perhaps a pie upgrade to a more available one, etc. But whatever, it needs to be a fast turnaround, or as fast as it can be given to the world we live in. It would be a real shame if all that hard work and effort to Kickstarter 2 to get it out meant that it was it. Would be awesome if there was a 4 Kickstarter next, one in each color. So there's a lot in here. So I've made my point. There has to be something extra. Right now, this is, I think, an initial testing the waters. What threw me off too, I should read this. Where's Mike made a post down here. Where is it? I want to find the exact. I don't want to read it wrong. That's not his. Where did I read it? I might not be able to read it. He basically said that he would not be involved in making the Kickstarter 3, basically. That's what I read from it. So it's somebody else's task. So that's something to also think about. And I made a post back saying, did you lose a lot of hairs? Because I think he's follically challenged like me and losing a lot of hairs through all the stress because, yeah, it was a stressful thing. But it appears that maybe we got to consider that some of these Kickstarter 1 folks, Kickstarter 2 folks will be dropping away. There'll be some new folks coming into the mix, some old fading away. Will that cause any issues? All to be seen. But anyway, would I do 3? There needs to be more known. Straight out, exactly as Kickstarter 2 with only a outer box adjustment. Nope, I don't have the money. I'm sorry. Kickstarter 3 with some additions that tease me and please me. Probably, and it depends what it is. If it's a dust cover only, probably not. If it's a joypad that's logoed like it should be, yeah. I like that, because I love my 8-bit do. I use it all the time, a wireless. So you think they would say, hey, we're going to buy 1, 2, 3,000 of these from you. We need our logo on there or your game. Or come up with a way to make their own. I don't know. That's probably pretty expensive. But anyway, there needs to be some additions for me to jump on board. I love Next. I own Kickstarter 1, Kickstarter 2. I own lots of older Nexts. There has to be something different thrown in for me to personally do it at today's pocketbook. My wallet is very thin. Very thin. I'm not thin, but it's thin. Maybe by the time that this thing goes up, I might be in a different state. I don't know. But anyway, that's Kickstarter 3. Are you interested? You better go join this poll, because if this poll does really bad, they may not entertain it at all. Even though Mike said he's not involved. Maybe he's going to be involved in some way, but maybe just not the manufacturing stuff that he was involved with before. Hopefully he doesn't completely go away, because he's a nice guy. So anyway, that's it. Specky Next Kickstarter 3. Is it viable? Post down below what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.